Welcome back to Atlanta and Company, everyone. I'm Christine Pilara. Devilishly funny, pure genius. Those are just some of the positive reviews of the stage production of C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters. After 6 months of successful engagements across the country, the show is finally here in Atlanta. Here to tell us all about it is cast member Max McLean. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Christine.
So, did I understand this correctly? You actually adapted the Screwtape Letters for stage, and now here it is. So what made you decide to do that? What was it about the material that you really loved?
Well, first of all, it came to me. I was working on another production, and this theater professor from Drew University in Madison, New Jersey saw it, and he liked it. And about 2 weeks later, he sent me an email saying, "I really liked what you did in that production. I think you'd make a really good Screwtape." And I didn't know if that was a compliment or not.
Right. Well, tell our viewers why you weren't sure if it was a compliment.
Well, because I mean, I knew the book. I mean, you know, the book is about a senior demon. I think of the play is set in hell, and we follow the dealings of Lucifer, Satan's chief psychiatrist, Screwtape, as he develops plans to bring what he calls a patient. A patient is an everyman on earth. It's interesting he uses the word patient because when you and I think of a patient, we think of someone in need of healing.
Sure.
In Screwtape's vernacular, a patient is someone in need of corrupting and bringing to damnation into hell.
Interesting.
So we follow this, and it's very, very clever. It's probably C.S. Lewis's one of his most influential work. I think the character, Screwtape, is one of the great literary creations of the 20th century. In the book, The Screwtape Letters, of which the theatrical adaptation is based on, is probably the best example of reverse psychology in literature. Really?
Now, what were the challenges then in bringing it to the stage? Because, as you said, it seems cerebral, and then you're having to bring it to the stage, keep some elements, I'm sure, exactly the same, but also bring your own style and bring your own unique flair.
Yeah, well, we were very careful to be true to the book because we knew the book is known to be very, very witty, very, very funny, and so we started with that. There's two arcs to the story that makes it theatrical. The first arc is what happens to the patient who begins essentially indifferent to spiritual things, and then he becomes, through his journey, very, very devout. And as his journey goes from indifference to devout, Screwtape, whose mission is to destroy this man, to ruin his life, his journey goes from being the most confident, erudite person in the world, and then as things go well for the patient, Screwtape begins to fall apart. And that's the interesting journey that the audiences enjoy.
So, in your opinion, has the production been successful in appealing to people who are not Christians?
Well, Lewis has a huge following of people that are of faith, because I mean his own spiritual journey began in atheism to paganism to theism to Christianity, and all of that is in elements of the Screwtape Letters. I mean, it ran in New York for 9 months. We had 309 performances.
Fabulous.
Everywhere we go, I mean, the show will be, it's selling extremely well here.
Now, was that a surprise when you think back? No, because you knew the material
I knew
was going to work.
Screwtape people know this book, and anyone that knows it, and then of course they know Lewis.
Right.
So if you get those two things together, and then of course you get the sort of independent verification from the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, etc. Then all of a sudden say, I'm going to go check this out.
Talk about inhabiting, this character who's diabolical, funny, witty.
Yeah.
Well, what's that like for you?
Well,
do you leave Screwtape on stage?
Yes, I have to leave him on stage because he's kind of a master of the universe type character. He loves the way he looks. He loves the way he talks. He loves the way he dresses. He's the smartest guy in the room. He's pure pride. He's just this proud peacock. And so, but you know what's interesting is that he has this charm that really attracts people. Like him because he's so good at his job. And you know, you and I are always impressed by anybody that does their job well. And he does it so well, it says, wow, this guy's good.
Right. What's challenging for you about playing this role?
Well, I think in terms of finding it, I had to find his voice.
Right.
And once I found Screwtape's voice, then the body came in and you could get that sort of persona that just immediately sucks the air out of the room when he arrives.
Now, you mentioned, of course, that this has a huge following with people who are familiar with C.S. Lewis's work, but let's say somebody out there hasn't read the book, they're not familiar with it. What can they take away from it? What do you think that they're going to learn?
Well, that's interesting, and we get a lot of people that have never read it. What I think our play is more accessible than the book. So a lot of people would say, well, should I read the book first? I says, no, see the play first, then read the book. Or if you've read the book, see the play, and then read the book again.
Right.
Because now you've got a picture of what he looks like.
Absolutely. Well, you're fabulous. I can tell already. You'll be a good demon.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I think that's a compliment.
It is a compliment. You'll be a good bad demon. Thank you so much, Max. Appreciate your time. And best of luck with the run here in Atlanta.
Thank you.